All right, guys. So today this is going to be a little different. Today we're going to be looking at this Insomnium again, but we're going to be looking at it a little differently due to copyright claims from Nuclear Blast. Um, this is the first time I've actually tried to review a song, and when I finish the song and try to upload, it then complains about copyright infringement. And this is also the first song by Insomnium that I've ever seen have this type of copyright claim. And that could be because this is probably one of their most popular songs that's out there. But due to the fact this song was heavily requested, I'm still gonna review it and, as much as I can, react to it without listening to it. I have listened to it, and I have definitely given thought to it because it has a lot in it, and it's I guess you could say it's a heavy song, and I don't mean heavy as in um, it's not heavy like musically, as heavy as most of Insomnium's stuff, but it is heavy message wise, right? And I'm going to briefly go over the lyrics, so this is going to take a little bit. If you want, you can either stick to this video and listen to me go over the lyrics, or you can just go really quick and click the link in the description that will take you to the video, and you can watch it really fast and then come back here. If that's the case, I'll give you like 5 seconds to do that. Okay, now that they went, and we'll be back in a minute. Um, yeah, so if you decide to stay for this, cool. If you don't, then, and you come back, fast forward to like 3 minutes in from here later. But anyway, the lyrics say, sound of the waves, song of the woeful wind, beauty of yearning, the tune of my heart. For once there was a time when I sat by your side, and right before our eyes the world was wide open. Are long since gone, to return, never return, to return again, but a long slow desert left anymore, the waning years of heartache and regret. And since you set out to reach your hopes and dreams, I've stayed here helpless and in sight for these wounded wings. I've never left this barren soil where all my wishes slowly fade away. Are long since gone, never return to return again, but a long slow desert left any more the waning years of heartache and regret. The bridge now says, if you do still remember, question, do you still remember? Would you still believe? Would you still believe that this blackened soul of mine was once untarnished? Years of disappointment and disillusion, all I see in the mirror now is an old man with a heart like a grave. Do you still remember? Would you still believe that this blackened soul of mine was once untarnished? So, given I read those way too fast to actually process anything, if you watch the music video, the plot of the music video kind of follows this old man, and I believe the way they set it up, there's this old man who's kind of reliving his life in a sense, and just wishing he could either go back to the way it was, or he is wishing that he had done something differently in his past, and that is why he is the way that he is. As the video progresses, you see a little boy who is watching him, kind of, and the old man builds a cross and leaves it in his barn while he goes and carries his deceased wife, I assume, into the water and proceeds to die with her. Now, some of it seems like a time loop, kind of a time drag, where part of it's in the present and part of it's in the past. And let me try to fix this really quick. There we go. And it's hard to tell kind of what is what and which is which, but the message of the song stays the same, right? And this is Insomnium, so you can assume that there is a sad connotation, a melancholy connotation to it, which is accurate. It is a sad song, but there's things in it that stand out to me, and there are things that I think are true, and I think there are things that aren't true. And so the first thing that I want to mention, it's really from the bridge out that hit me really hard when I listened to it. Um, the bridge again is the part that says, "Do you still remember? Would you still believe that this blackened soul of mine was once untarnished?" And I think all of us, if you will, as time progresses, when we're children, um, we tend to want to, like, we're carefree, we're fun, we don't realize all the responsibilities that come with being an adult. And then as adulthood comes, it's not necessarily that we turn into the adults, and it's not necessarily the bills, it's not necessarily um, the requirements of being an adult as much as it is the pain and the trouble and the hard times that come with being an adult and with watching your parents grow old, with getting into more serious relationships, with having kids, with your first dog dying, whatever the sad things that you end up having happen to you in your life is what really changes your perspectives and changes your view of things. Um, and kind of when you live long enough to regret what you've done wrong, it's very easy to get sucked into this mindset that everything you did was wrong and you made all the wrong decisions, and you kind of just get depressed basically. And kind of the question here, the idea of, do you still remember, like, do you still remember the time when I wasn't fucked up basically? And would you still believe, like, do you still believe that there's part of me that's good basically, and then that this blackened soul of mine was once untarnished? So the idea of, at some point there was innocence, but now I'm just like, I feel like cold hearted and my heart has turned to stone kind of thing. And and you're looking to somebody, you're asking out to somebody, don't you remember when I was still, like, innocent, when I was still happy? Don't you remember that, you know? And the worst answer that could be possible is no, I don't remember you ever being kind. I don't remember you ever caring. I don't remember you ever being loving. And I think part of that is when we try to answer the questions about ourselves that way. We don't, sometimes when you're depressed, you don't want to reach out to anybody. But you would find, I think, if you reached out to those closest to you and those who've known you a long time, that many of them have good memories of things you've done. Many have positive memories. And if they don't, then if you look at the book, the story of The Christmas Carol by Charles Dickinson, where you follow Scrooge, who's an old man, who's been stingy. He's been a stingy asshole his entire life, gets visited by three ghosts during the night of Christmas Eve, and he realizes that life is short and he needs to change so that he's remembered as somebody who impacted the world for good, you know? And so that's kind of what I got out of the bridge, was that question really of begging somebody to remember you for being happy and positive at some point. And seeing as the man's wife died, now he doesn't have anybody that will remind him of that. Um, And then it says, years of disappointment and disillusion. All I see in the mirror now is an old man with a heart like a grave, right? So years of disappointment and believing things that turned out to be a lie and being hurt by stuff definitely shapes how you come out of, that tunnel, if you will, that dark tunnel, or that period of life where everything was down. And it's easy again to be sucked into, like, man, that could have gotten so much better. I could have done that so differently. What if I had done this? What if I had done that? And you don't focus on what you did do right, or what good things came out of that. Like, you're so focused staring at the ground that you don't see the sunset. And then when it says, all I see in the mirror now is an old man with a heart like a grave. So one, he's looking at himself, he's paying attention to himself, he's not looking anywhere other than at himself. He's not looking to see the impact he had on other people. He's not looking outwards. Like, mirrors show you yourself, right? But windows show you what's outside. And a lot of times, if we look outward instead of inward, one, you end up worrying about yourself less, and you start focusing more on the people around you and what other people see, what other people need, and that's when you start impacting other people in other ways. But then the next line is also significant, and this is where I really disagree with them. Is Well, I guess I don't disagree with them. I disagree with this perspective from the old man. And it says, is an old that all he sees is an old man with a heart like a grave, right? So think about it, right? If your heart is in if you have a heart like a grave, then you're basically saying it's too late. My heart's dead and it's already buried, and there's no coming back from that. Like, it's over. There's no hope, and I'm dead, basically. And your heart being your emotion, like, figuratively, your emotional sensor, the source of your soul, kind of is saying that my personhood, my spirithood is dead, and there's nothing that can be done. And I don't agree with that. I think you could be a terrible person your entire life, but then a week, a day, an hour before you die, you change how you're going to live the rest of your life. And whatever interaction you have with anybody after that point could be a change in the world for the better. And I don't think anyone should focus so hard on their past that they give up on being a positive force in the future, right? Like, I've done some pretty bad things. I've done some pretty shitty things to people. But at some point, even if you don't get forgiven by them, when you try to reconcile and you say, I'm sorry for what I did, and they say, no, fuck you, I don't give a fuck, you fucked me up too hard, you can either get caught, oh, I fucked them up, man, I'll never get over fucking them up. Or you could be like, I did what I could, I reached out for forgiveness because I felt that it was proper for me to do that in order to clear the wall I built between us. And now if they want to keep up that wall, they can. That's up to them. But I will keep going with life, and I will stop fascinating over that one thing or those things that happen. And I think it's really important that we begin, especially in a time when so much of the world is in a mess, like in turmoil, falling apart. People are sick, people are dying, governments are collapsing, governments are destroying their own people. Like, there's a huge amount of stuff going on to the world that you could easily get obsessed with being negative over. And I think it's really important that we stop looking worldwide for a few minutes and we start looking outside to our own world that we see, and we start saying, okay, well, what can I do in my neighborhood? Who can I influence right here, right now, for the better? Like, it's like right now, social distancing is mostly like, stay 6 feet apart from each other, right? So my thing is like, my wife and I, we tend to go on walks every evening because we both cannot stand being in the house all the time. But every day there's always other people out walking or running or whatever, and it's like, okay, so these are the people we interact with today. So what can we do to impact their lives so that it's better? So now we're looking in a 15-foot radius, if you will, because that's over 6 feet. And we're saying, okay, whenever we see people, what can we do to maybe brighten their day, make the interactions they have, the limited interactions they have, to be pleasant ones that day, that'll maybe help them with this isolation. And it's like, you could just ignore them all. You could just keep your head down and walk past them. Or you could smile at them. You could say, hi, how are you doing? And just check up on the people around you. And that small impact goes a long way, because people will be like, oh, I remember those guys that used to walk, around our neighborhood all the time. And every time they passed by, they said hello, and then slowly other people will pick up on that. Other people start saying hello, and then suddenly you have a neighborhood that's all like happy. Everyone is going around saying, hi, what's up, hi, 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 and you can walk by any house and people are sitting outside and people are happy to see each other, instead of living in isolation, basically, and your world only goes to your phone, you know so that goes back. Like, now we're getting into combining Insomnium with Nightwish and this song with noise and stuff. So at any rate, um yeah, I really did like this song though, and I really like their articulation of depression and being stuck in that kind of mindset. So I really did appreciate the suggestion, because it did give me a new perspective on this. I hope you guys actually stayed and watched most of this video. This video turned out to be close to 20 minutes long, and I didn't even watch the song, so that means I had a lot to talk about. So at any rate, thank you guys for listening, thank you guys for watching, and I hope that you guys start looking, if you aren't already, start looking in your immediate circle, not your family necessarily, but in your circle that you impact every day, and start thinking, regardless of what I've done, what can I do to make things around me better, so other people don't necessarily feel like they've been wasted, if you know. Anyway, again, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys stay safe. I hope you guys stay healthy. As always, be kind, stay safe, be healthy, and affect people for the positive. And I will see you guys in the next video, which hopefully will not be copyrighted or blocked for copyright issues. Anyway, I will see you in the next video. Peace.